Geek Outings, Mandalorian, episode 6. This is Editor coming from San Antonio, Texas.
And as always, Joel Cole coming live to you from Santa Monica, California.
Boba, I broke my Wookiee fresh out of San Francisco.
Robert Dennis Lucy the Fourth, coming at you from Southern Oregon.
Impressive. Most impressive.
It was an impressive episode. I thought I'd go full title.
Shit.
That episode, I would say, is in the running for the best episode so far of the series.
Okay, that's a weird thing to say because I feel like it was the most filler episode.
What? Are you kidding
Strider,
me?
Strider, I know you're looking at me already because you heard me say filler, and you're like, what the fuck does filler mean? Like in the last one?
We had this discussion last time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Literally, you just introduce a bunch of random characters, and then you have an adventure. It's almost like a Rick and Morty episode. No, Rick and Morty, this whole season, nothing's been moved along. Nothing. You just get these random weird characters, random episodes, and I felt like this, don't get me wrong, I love the episode, I thought it was great, but I thought if out of everything we've seen so far, this is the most filler episode we have seen.
Ed, I agree with you.
That's the first time for that ever.
In the sense of how you had stated it about the Rick and Morty, I think that it was definitely the most episodic, even though the one with the saving the village was very self-contained in what was happening. This one even more so. Like I said, like the story doesn't get advanced anywhere. It's more of dressing the world. Like we get to see, we're not on Tatooine. Like can I say that? Like we're not on Tatooine. Like we got a whole episode and somewhere new in a setting that's new, as opposed to Tatooine. This is a super sterile environment. The use of the whites and the reds with the colors was super strong. But yeah, I felt, for me, as I run Star Wars role-playing games, I felt like this was a Star Wars role-playing game bookended, like a perfect thing that I would want to run and roll dice to.
Lucy,
Yeah.
what'd you think?
I agree with you that, well, I love the episode. First off, I love the episode. I agree that it didn't advance the story, but it did give us a little bit more history on the Mandalorian, the kind of people that he was running with. We knew he ran with some interesting characters, but you actually get to meet those characters, several of them. I thought it was probably the best acted. Bill Burr surprised the hell out of me with how well he did. I was looking at, you see a comedian coming on and you're like, oh, but, he played it serious, but he had great quips and jokes and stuff like that. He was kind of the opposite of what Toro was last week. He was kind of mostly confident in himself. He had a plan. So, he was, being a little bit cunning. And you got history on, I like that aspect of it.
It's funny you say that because Bill Burr, I think, to me, was the most surprising part of this whole episode because I dislike him, generally speaking, as a comedian.
Dislike?
It's not like I dislike him. I just don't see his appeal. I think he's just a normal East Coast comedian, and there's nothing really he sounds like third grade Dennis Leary to me, and I just don't really get. I don't get what his appeal is to me, unless you're from Boston or New York or Philadelphia, I guess. I'm probably going to cut that out. Bobby, what'd you think?
The way they used the cinematography as well was like classic horror story stuff, with how he came up behind Bill Burr with the lights flashing.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a good scene.
I was like, yeah, well, it was almost like Aliens. How it was like going through corridors, but like a supernatural stealth. I loved it. Yeah, I loved the episode.
Going off of what Bobby just said, I completely agree. Just like the other movies were all the other episodes were subgenres of some other movie. This one definitely had that space horror, Event Horizon, Aliens feel to it. Even at the very end, with them basically being on a ghost ship, no one else is alive. You know, like all these prisoners are trapped, and it's just going to go off into wherever. I'm sure that it's pre-programmed, blah blah blah, but who knows? Mando could have really fucked up the controls. But yeah, I think that their ability to do that horror blackout sneak up behind you scene was real cool.
The horn dude makes a comment about, you know, if you're a Mandalorian, why are you all dead? And then he does a Gungan reference, like,
Yeah,
he said, "No, take my helmet off." Like, he's literally like degrading him in that through Star Wars reference, not through like the universe. We don't know what a Gungan is in the Star Wars universe, but we know what a Gungan is in the fan universe. And he literally used that, like, which is Jamaican racism, but
Well,
I mean,
I think that that inside meta joke also goes to the fact that there's the whole Jar Jar Binks is possibly a Sith Lord who had done everything in the background. So to say that the baddest bounty hunter ever was a Gungan was also like a good wink at the audience.
it's another observation off of observations you've made repeatedly, like throughout our episodes. When that dude looks at his face and he's like, "What's that look for?" And he's just wearing the helmet. You know what I'm saying? There's no difference in the face. But obviously, like, there's so much emoting through that mask that we are not seeing, but you could feel watching. Like, I thought that was just fucking a dope nod to everything that you said since episode 1.
I thought the person at the end of the last episode that walked up on the assassin, that might be another Mandalorian just kind of tailing Mando. You know, whether it be Boba Fresh as possibly, but maybe it's somebody from that same clan that has an eye on him.
No, I thought it was interesting that they didn't give us a reveal in this episode. They decided to drag that out. Wait, another thing I found interesting, when Bill Burr's character saw Baby Yoda, he's like, "What the hell is that? Did you two make that?" So wait, so Yoda's species isn't well known to the galaxy?
Remember last episode I had said, I don't think Yoda is super well known. There's only 2 of them that we know about, and he was part of the Jedi Council, and I don't think he was the PR person out in the front. So I think as well known as Yoda is to us as being a ubiquitous, this is the Force heavy master user, I think, you know, there's a lot of things about the Jedi Council that ended up being shady, and I don't know if they released the council members' names if possible.
Do you remember what he said when the brother goes, "You killed them all," and he's like, "They got what they deserved."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, he didn't even say he killed them." And it was like, wait, and that's when I even thought to myself, they didn't actually show the death on screen. You can't count them actually dead. And then they actually paid, it was the payoff at the end. And you're right, it was very Star Wars-esque with like a sort of, yeah, I mean, not a happy ending, but it gives them a noble streak.
Yeah, but if you go with what they deserve, then he imprisoned them.
Yeah,
they
imprisoned him.
But then the other 2 died. They got blown the fuck up.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, at the space station?
They were going to kill him.
Yeah.
His last order was kill him.
What?
And that's
Well, but that has nothing to do with his honor, though.
Ed, Bobby is completely right. I know you hate that to be the case, but Bobby is 100% correct. Everything he did was within his parameters of the honor that it was established. They got what they deserved. They put him in prison. He put them back in prison. He double-crossed them. They double-crossed him. He gets paid. Oh, the droid's about to shoot Baby Yoda, so he gets what he deserves because he's getting his fair share right back. And then at the end, he gets paid. He follows through his honor. He delivers his bounty. He does what he does as a Mandalorian. And then he sets them up knowing that they're about to betray him because the double cross was already in, because Quinn is not going to forgive him for whatever went on between them in the past, and him obviously, so, you know, as far as he knows, killing his sister. So,
what do you guys think the end game is for Mando at this point with 2 episodes left? Do you think that he thinks Baby Yoda is something special to be protected? Or do you think that he is just an orphan trying to protect another orphan?
I think that his motivation is the latter. I think that he knows through the mud rhino and all of that stuff, the mud horn battle, that there's something obviously special about Baby Yoda, but his intense hate of droids from the way that they most likely killed his parents and everyone that he knew, is balanced with the love that he has for this creature when he shouldn't, when he's supposed to just be a neutral character.
Yeah. Hey, Ed, where do you think it's going?
Nowhere. It's 3 filler episodes, man. I don't think anything's happening. I think it's done.
What? Okay, but so
Or so do they have to end a plot arc, and then they have to leave us on some kind of cliffhanger, you would think?
He's gonna get Beskar Shin guards. That's it.
That's it. That's
no,
it.
but the character from the first episode needs to come back, right?
No, I don't think anybody's came back yet. Like, I think they're building a world towards a future, and there's obviously a season 2, so it's not gonna have to end in a like boom way.
What an excellent point. It's something I thought about even today. I was just like, it hit me. It was like, okay, so Yoda baby is 50 years old. Now, we assume him to be toddler-like in mentality because of how he walks and talks and looks. But, I mean, even 900-year-old Yoda, like, his linguistic skills were subpar, to say best. Like, he didn't really get, the way language worked and all that, and still looked kind of toddler-esque, even though he was very mentally capable. So this 50-year-old baby could be capable of a lot of different, of conceptual ideas. 50 years is a long time to be around and just learn and interact with things.
You make a great point, because even at 900 years old, Yoda's still playing with things and throwing things around and like having fun. So like,
I mean, that's also the point of, taking care of a child is like taking care of an elderly person. You got to change their diapers and do whatever you got to do. They're not as coherent as they were, or they will be. So I don't know. It's either way. I guess
that was pretty deep, Ed, and I'm not sure where that came from.
Yeah,
but I want more of that insight.
It came from my great grandmother having fucking dementia. That's where it came. But anyway, on that note,
doubled down on the deepness.
On that note, we'll switch. So the Beskar, if you notice in this last episode, Mando was the first to jump in and take a blast and try to save everybody else, and it seems on par for him as a character at this point. It's in his, personality. But my question to you guys is, based on everything that he's done or said or not said in this series, do you think the Beskar is what makes him a hero, or is he, or not, brave, I guess, or is he brave regardless?
You know what? I think, and I feel like it's part of their religion to earn it through bravery. So that is ingrained in them to be courageous and to have Steve Rogers, before he had the superhuman thing, jump on a grenade impulse. That's what they seek in their foundlings. That's what they seek in the people that want to adopt the Mandalorian code. And when they have done that and done stuff in honor, then they get the Beskar armor to really just, to run with it.
You're absolutely right, Bobby, that there's some chivalry to the whole thing, but there's many different clans of Mandalorians. that are at least canon to Rebels and canon to Clone Wars. And there's even Mandalorian clans that fight amongst themselves. So they haven't really expanded too much on the overall mythos of Mandalorians in general or their history. I think us, and me in particular, know most of it from just catching up on videos on the internet and watching the TV shows. But the casual viewer has no clue what's going on.
Do you think that this show has casual viewers?
Oh, sure it does.
I would think so. Anyone that has Disney Plus is gonna watch Mandalorian, even if they're not a Star Wars fan, because it's
it's high quality. No, I feel you. I think Lucy you bring up a very interesting point. One, that Bobby's been so right so many times this episode. But there, I forgot what I was going to say after being jerky. What were you just talking about?
The history of Mandalorians in general, the difference between casual fans and more educated Star Wars fanatics.
Yeah. I think you bring up a really good point there also, Lucy, because it shows the ubiquitousness of how popular Star Wars is at this point. Like, Yoda is the Superman emblem, right? Like, in the sense of universe on a global scale, people know what that is and where that comes from.
No, but so check it out. Imagine the viewer that is not a Star Wars fan, starts watching The Mandalorian, gets sucked in by Baby Yoda, and wants to discover the entire Star Wars universe.
Okay, well, my boss.
There have to be people like that.
My boss is like 32 years old. He bought Disney Plus for his kids. He's never seen a Star Wars. He's from Chicago. Never seen a Star Wars episode. But the guy next to me in the office was just like, "It's too late for you, bro. Like you're not gonna get it. Like no, because you're gonna watch all the old movies and you're gonna be confused. You don't have if you're a 5-year-old watching A New Hope, you have a way different perception than a 32-year-old man watching it with someone who's like, you got to watch this. You know what I mean? Like you're like, what the fuck do you like this for? This is stupid.
Dude, I would posit and say that it's possible that so many people, like, this guy might not have ever seen the movie, but he knows who Darth Vader is. He probably knows that Darth Vader is Luke's father. He probably knows that was a big reveal that wasn't supposed to be shown, just because he probably watches Family Guy or any other multitude of pop culture phenomenon which reference this thing. He doesn't watch Family Guy. Well, then he's just a weirdo, Ed. Like, he's not. I mean, he's just not pop relevant. Like, yeah, go ahead and hang out with Woolsey and read a short story.
He is a Chicago Bears fan and a Cubs fan, so I mean, I don't know what that means in relation to that, but
yeah, there's a lot of people that are just not into science fiction.
Ed, you're really taking a lot of swings at a lot of cities in this episode. It's very isolating.
I'm from Mos Eisley. I don't care about these Earth cities.
Rob, Lucy, coming at you from Southern Oregon. It's been a pleasure, guys. Look forward to our next discussion.
Boba Fresh coming from San Francisco. Geek on, geek out.
And this is Joel Cole, a.k.a. Bobby. As always, super fun geeking out on Geek Outings. So keep on geeking on.
Editor, closing out from San Antonio, but I wish I wasn't.
Another swipe at another city, and you live in.
I'm taking them all out. Fuck them all.
Who's our market?
I'm moving to Dantooine.